ABC 36 Storm Team forecast.
What a difference a day has made here in central and eastern Kentucky. Of course, we started out very pleasant yesterday to begin the month of July, but the heat and humidity rolling back in today. Mother Nature may provide her own fireworks for the upcoming 4th of July holiday. And as we head into the second half of the weekend, a bit of a change there. The trend is for some drier air. It'll be warm, but the dryness, the key, of course, and then typical July pattern heading into early next week. Few storms, highs in the upper 80s, visible satellite, some high thin clouds here in the bluegrass, and you see the clouds drifting from south to north as our winds have shifted around to the south-southwest. They were easterly as late as mid-morning, but with that high giving way, that's opened the door for the warmth and the humidity to return organized severe weather back to our northwest across parts of Iowa. Checking out downtown Mount Sterling in Montgomery County, we're at 86, so it is definitely a warmer to even a hotter afternoon depending on location. And checking out Casey County, Liberty, 87 there at the Kentucky Mesonet site. And a mix of clouds and sunshine, so it promises to be a warm and muggy evening. We're at 91, Lexington, Richmond, and Mount Vernon, as well as Lebanon and Danville into the mid to upper 80s out to the east. And of course, this is the biggest change. Our dew points back in the upper 60s to around 70, so it's feeling like early July, and it is definitely warmer to hotter across the board compared to 24 hours ago. So the heat is settling in. The moisture is returning. You see that green here on the regional dew point map indicating that moisture is back, and so the table is set with high pressure giving way to the east. That's going to open the door for the area of low pressure and the trailing cold front. That's going to catch us as we head into the latter part of Wednesday and into early Independence Day. So quiet this evening. We'll start things out into the low mid 70s tomorrow morning. But as the day progresses, a few isolated storms popping up. Notice low, possibly even mid 90s here in the bluegrass. And I think our best chance of organized storms will be during the early hours of Independence Day. A couple of rounds of storms coming through. And if we do see any kind of severe weather threat, that's when it's going to be. Now, it's a damaging wind gust threat along with some heavier rain. Level 2 Lexington, Cincinnati, and then down the river here. The tornado threat is virtually non-existent, at least with this setup, and the hail is way, way low. Plenty of moisture here into the 4th and on Friday, but notice the dip as we get into the upcoming weekend, and that's where we'll be in a little bit better shape. But you see kind of the trend here through the 4th of July. I don't think it's going to rain all day. We're just going to see several rounds of rain and storms. Hopefully we'll squeeze some windows in where we can get some fireworks in of the man-made kind as opposed to the natural kind with lightning around. And of course on Friday we've got this frontal boundary that's going to be moving in. That's going to mean additional heavier rain potential, but that will also usher in some slightly drier air for the second half of the upcoming weekend. Low end severe threat coming up on the 4th of July. All right, let's check out the tropics here. Latest advisory on Beryl. You see the well-defined eye, 155 mile per hour maximum sustained winds, a strong category 4. It's dropped from a 5, but it is still a monster out there as far as the forecast track. It's going to make a run right toward Jamaica tomorrow afternoon. Here are the Caymans. The impact then, early hours of Thursday. It weakens even more, but as it runs toward the Yucatan Peninsula, Cancun could still be at hurricane status early Friday, and then once it gets back out into the Gulf of Campeche, the Bay of Campeche there, and makes a run toward the Texas-Mexico border, could re-strengthen into a bit of a tropical storm. So this is going to be very impactful for a lot of vacation spots, and it's all due to high pressure setting over the southeastern U.S., and it's keeping things well to the south instead of that high sitting out over the eastern seaboard and it cutting into the Gulf of Mexico. That's why it's a little farther south than it typically, most of the storms that we see during the hurricane season taking that track. Warm, muggy, fair skies, 74 overnight, hot and humid, a few storms late, 94 on your Wednesday. And the extended forecast is keep the rain gear handy, off and on rain and storms, both Independence Day and Friday. But I think we're good Saturday, Sunday, so we salvage a bit of the long holiday weekend, and then a few isolated storms back in the mix next Monday and Tuesday.